Hi folks, Steven here. So I recently finished up the main campaign, or I guess I should say campaigns, of Octopath Traveler, and I've been reflecting a bit on the music, and I've made an observation I kind of wanted to share and get some thoughts on. So the music for Octopath Traveler was written by Yasunori Nishiki. I hope I said that relatively correct. And if you want a copy of it, there is like a 4 CD version you can import from Japan, but there's also sort of a demo preview album that was released early this year with music from the demo version released last year. Now, I guess you could say it's sort of a quote-unquote typical RPG soundtrack. It's got these very lush orchestral arrangements. And the more I listened to it, the more it reminded me of Shinji Miyazaki's work on the Japanese version of the Pokemon anime. You may remember that he does that. He scores the movies and things like that. However, I think I really like the Octopath stuff a little bit better. And, if you've heard our discussions about the Pokemon movie music I've done with Anne for the last year or so, I've mentioned that I don't dislike, or I should say I don't hate Shinji Miyazaki's work on the more recent movies, but I haven't been super taken aback by anything really since like movie 10. And as far as styles, I'm not saying that these two folks do exactly the same type of music. I think the closest ones for comparison are kind of the more ambient tracks that appear for like some of the overworld areas in Octopath, or some of the cutscene cues that are in there. You compare those two, there's just some similar tracks in sort of the Pokemon movie scores, as I did some review. And in those cases, and sort of generally overall, I think I prefer the Octopath tracks. I think they have better overlaid melodies for those ambient tracks, and just kind of better melodies in general. And as I thought about this, I thought, well, why are these similar? Well, there's sort of the obvious one that they're both two composers or arrangers from Japan. And the material that they're working with, as far as like the source material they're scoring for, is somewhat similar. But I did a little research. Turns out Yasunori is a couple years younger than me. And I'm not sure how definitive this is, but when Pokemon came to Japan in animated form, when Shinji Miyazaki started, I guess, releasing stuff that way through the show, he would have been about 12 years old, so maybe that's a little on the high end, I'm not sure, but he probably, almost certainly I would say, actually got exposed to some of the stuff there, so it may have been an influence. I did try looking up his website. Yasunori does actually have an English website, or an English version of it. Didn't really list any influences, though, that sometimes musicians do. But just overall, I kind of want to get your feedback on this. First of all, am I right that there is sort of a similarity, more than maybe you would expect by chance or whatever? And do you have a preference? I'm not saying that, Shinji Miyazaki should be fired and replaced with Yasunori, but, maybe down the line, if he retires, they can bring Yasunori in. Who knows? But if you have any opinions in that area, go ahead, give us a comment. We always like that. All right, folks, thanks.